wisdom tooth extracted. It gave me a tremendous amount of sodium pentothal. I came home and was in great pain. They hadn't given me any pain medication. My wife called the pharmacy. I was in such pain that I went out to meet the girl when she came. She was wearing a golden fish sign on profile on a necklace. The sun struck it and it shone, and I was dazed by it. For some reason, I was hypnotized by the gleaming fish. I forgot my pain, forgot the medication, forgot why the girl was there. I just kept staring at the fish sign. "What does that mean?" I asked her. The girl touched the glimmering golden fish with her hand and said, "This is a sign worn by the early Christians." She then gave me the package of medication. In that instant, as I stared at the gleaming fish sign and heard her words, I suddenly experienced what I later learned is called anamnesis, a Greek word meaning loss of forgetfulness. I remembered who I was and where I was. In an instant, in a twinkling of an eye, it all came back to me. And not only could I remember it, but I could see it. The girl was a secret Christian, and so was I. We lived in fear of detection by the Romans. We had to communicate in cryptic signs. She had just told me all this was true. I saw the world of the apostolic Christian times of ancient Rome, when the fish sign was in use. It only lasted a few seconds. I went in and took the pain medication. I was hemorrhaging, I was bleeding badly, and in great discomfort. And then a month later, it all began to seep through. There wasn't any way I could hold it back. The transformation occurred, it stayed for a year. I saw the world under the aspect of the Christian apocalypse. It wasn't like an alternate reality. It was like what I called trans-temporal constancy. It was an eternal truth, like Plato's archetypical world, where everything was always here and always now, and had been that way and would always be that way. But there was some kind of time dynamism, where it wasn't static. There was some kind of time, but it was a different kind of time. A dream time, where the deeds of heroes occurred. It was some kind of mythological time. Everything assumed a mythological quality. I was able to function perfectly. I wasn't psychotic. I was able to handle all my business. I wasn't screwed up. It invaded my mind and assumed control of my motor centers and did my acting and thinking for me. I was a spectator to it. This mind, whose identity was totally obscure to me, was equipped with tremendous technical knowledge. It had memories dating back over 2,000 years. It spoke Greek, Hebrew, Sanskrit. There wasn't anything that it didn't seem to know. It immediately set about putting my affairs in order. It fired my agent and my publisher. My wife was impressed by the fact that because of the tremendous pressure this mind put on people in my business, I made quite a lot of money very rapidly. We began getting checks for thousands of dollars, money that was owed me. I didn't want to involve my wife in this. She was a witness on a crucial matter. She was there when all the information about my little boy's birth defect was transferred to me. She saw me sitting there listening to the Beatles on the phonograph. He would have died. He was in imminent peril. It was just a matter of time. So I was sitting there listening to Strawberry Fields Forever when my eyes shut, when all of a sudden this tremendous light hit me. Literally, in a sense, I saw the light. I was blinded. I thought, Jesus Christ, what's happening? I'm blind. My head hurts. Can't see nothing. All I can see is a phosphorine afterimage like you see when a flashbulb fires off. All I could see was a pink haze, and the words of the Beatles song got all changed around. Your eyes are closed to your son's birth defect. Your son is in danger. He has a right hernia that has popped the hydrocele and gone into the scrotal sac. You must get him to a doctor immediately. I leaped up. Tess was in the other room changing Christopher. I walked in and said, "Tess, he's got a birth defect, and it's going to kill him. We've got to get him to a doctor." I was so upset I couldn't even drive. So she called the doctor and said, it's an emergency. She came back an hour later and was absolutely ashen. She said, "He does have a right hernia, and it's down into a scrotal sac. I've got the name of a surgeon. The doctor says we should have surgery immediately. We took him to the surgeon's the next day and scheduled surgery immediately. The surgeon said, your baby could have died any time. But that was only one thing that happened. There were lots of others. That was just one. I would not be sitting here talking to you today if that weird-looking shiny fire hadn't come around and zapped me, shooting up the walls and through the apertures in the door. There is no reasonable argument that would elucidate what that was. That was that flowing around the room like St. Elmo's fire. And it thinks. It got into my brain and made me think. It didn't think what we think. I was looking at my notes. It's over 7 years later, and I'm still taking notes in an effort to understand. It did not think in a sense that we think. We think in digital, syntactical, verbal integers. It did not think in verbal terms. It thought pure thoughts, and without words, but it knew without rationation. It transferred to my mind concepts that in 7 years of trying to articulate them in words, I've only been able to reduce them. I finally found a model that was suggested by a professor friend. It worked like a binary computer on a flicker pulsation off and on. It just wasn't a mind like we have minds. One of my experiences, it was in 1974, I bought one of those fish signs with the Greek letters on it and pasted it up on my window. I was sitting there one day, and the epsilon, which